Right, in part 2 we travel from Biddulph Moor to the next sighting of the Trent at Knapersly Reservoir, which is only a couple of miles downstream. I have done a full video on this place before, including Galton Well, Warden's Tower and Galton Stone, with all the myths, legends and so on. So I'll just give you a brief update in this one, because it's about the River Trent really, and you can go and look at the one to get more details. Now, Knapersly Reservoir was built in 1827, and it was built to supply water to the Keldon Canal, with it being supplied by the head of the Trent and other small streams. And it is the only reservoir along the course of the River Trent. There are two adjacent lakes to the site. There's the Upper Serpentine Pool, which feeds the Lower Knapersly Pool. Now this is the Warden's Tower, which is a Victorian folly. Now this sacred grove is said to be one of the finest examples to be found anywhere in England, and possibly one of the most mystical places, certainly one of the most atmospheric. Now it is said to have been used by the Druids, and it's surrounded by yew trees which were thought to have been venerated by the ancient people. But the presence of the nearby Warden's Tower, which is a Victorian folly, could indicate that it's possibly an 18th century piece of antiquarianism. But the Druid Celtic connection may be justified by the presence of Galton Stone just up from the spring, with it being a large stone supported by three other stones, giving it the look of either a Druidic altar or a megalithic structure. Now some visitors get the feeling of tranquility and mystery which permeates this unusual space as you sit in meditation. Others say it has a darker energy, but I guess this is subjective, I guess. Personally, I felt like I was being watched, and one of my dogs looked very uncomfy. But different people, different things. But there are many reports of ghostly goings on, including Lady of the Lake, who appears as a white mist floating across the misty water. But most upsetting are the reports of children's cries for help from the water at night, said to be the victims of drownings. Now this magnificent structure has been regarded as a sacred healing stone, and it has been described as a dolmen or a megalithic stone monument, and the large stone on top could weigh up to 60 tons. Now it has also been claimed that it's a Victorian folly or natural erratic formation, but I've read it's unlikely to be a natural arrangement of stones, as the capstone is of a different type of rock to the base stones. And local people claim the stone has magic powers, and when it's touched it exudes an energy, a kind of magnetic field. I don't know if it's any indication, but the dogs couldn't leave it alone. They love being underneath it. Now, after leaving the reservoir, we spot the Trent again at Woodhouse Lane, already polluted with bloody tyres. Then a couple of miles on, we see it again snaking through the village of Norton Green. Seems to be enclosing a small housing estate. Later we can see it passing close to the Keldon Canal. And we see the Trent again at Hulton Abbey, a former monastery located in what is now called Abbey Hulton, a suburb of Stoke-on-Trent. Now the abbey was founded in the early 13th century, and it was dissolved by Henry VIII in 1538, including its land's assets all being sold off. Very little remains of the abbey today, but continued excavations have revealed the foundations of a number of principal houses and buildings, as well as human remains. Now the next interesting location is Bucknell Sands. Now if you were one of the many Potteridge kids many years ago who never had a family holiday in the summer from school, you would have spent days out at somewhere like Bucknell Sands. It was a short stretch of the River Trent where the water was still unpolluted by the potteries industry, and the river had several bends leaving tiny beaches of sand for the kids to play on. In the next episode I'll be looking at Stoke-on-Trent, the pollution and how it's recovered, visiting Trenton Gardens and working my way further down the Trent.